All right, today I'm gonna teach you creeps how to make a circle cutting jig for your bandsaw. This is a jig that you won't want to live without once you have it. Super easy to make. I made this entirely out of scrap wood. There's 2 stages to this. You're gonna build the bed, and this is the part that is going to slide through. And then you'll have this top exoskeleton, I call it, just now. That'll go on after you build the first part. So you're just gonna grab yourself a sheet of plywood. It could be 1/2 inch, it could be 3/4. I'm using 3/4 inch pre-finished ply for mine because that's what I had. You need to cut a piece. This will go into the slot on top of your table saw. There probably is a technical term. I call this a guide, and it will go into the slot. The guide will go into the slot. So once you're sliding through, you need this bore to stop, to not keep going through the saw, so you will make a stop. This is just made of 1/2 inch plywood, and the important thing is you want it just to sit proud of the bottom of your jig, so when you push it through, it stops because it's a stop. So you're just gonna make those pieces, or put those pieces together first. It's 3 pieces: guide, stop, table, top. Bring it over to your saw, put the saw on, slide your jig through, and where that blade stops, as you can see, mine stopped right here, is where you're gonna start marking for these pieces, but you now know where to mount this piece. This is all made of 1/2 inch plywood. This piece is important. You will want it square. These pieces are just here for support, just like your friends and family. So when you're spinning your board, there's something for them to be on. So now that you have a blade mark here, you can go every 1/2 inch. You're gonna make a mark and then drill a hole. I'm using a 1/4 inch hole, but you could use whatever you want so long as you can get a dowel of that size. Every 1/2 inch gets multiplied by 2. So 1/2 inch away from the blade means you're gonna cut a 1 inch circle. 6 inches away from the blade means you're gonna cut a 12 inch circle. This particular jig goes all the way up to 42 inches, which is pretty sweet. Once you have the jig made, the rest is pretty easy. So I have this piece of scrap wood. I've measured it this way. The smallest diameter, or the smallest width that we have, is a 10.5 inch piece here. So we're gonna make a 10 inch circle with that. Mark that, find the center this way, mark that, drill a 1/4 inch hole. Make sure this is the bottom of your circle. We'll take the dowel because we know we're going in 10 inches. Put it in the 10 inch dowel hole. Then you would line this up, and boom, you got a spinny thingy. So let's go over to the saw, put this bad boy into action. Come on, let's go. Oh, that's right, I'm by myself. So, all right, I'll grab you. We'll come on over here. You made it. Thanks for joining me. All right, so here it is. Here's our guide. Here's that track. Now you can see how this worked. I came over here, started the saw. The stop stopped it. From that point, I know where the end of my blade hits. I go in 1/8 inch backwards to mark this line. That's gonna lay out for the dowels because I'm using a 1/4 inch dowel, and I want my dowel to line up with the end of the saw blade. So again, we're gonna do a 10 inch circle here, putting the dowel in the 10 inch hole. Here's the board we're gonna cut a circle out of. Safety freaking first, am I right? You're gonna back it up, line up your hole. Could be the hardest part of the whole thing. We're good. So you want to make sure that the jig is not where the blade is, and also on that, your blade needs to be small. I believe this is a 1/4 inch width blade. You don't want it much bigger than that, especially if you're cutting small circles, because the blade, if it, say you got a 1 inch blade, it's gonna have a hard time making that radius if you're cutting like a 6 inch circle. So you can even go smaller. The smaller your circle, the smaller you want your blade. Let's go. All right, you're just gonna roll through, holding this board secure, and you're gonna go straight. Now that I've hit my stop, I just start spinning this bad boy around. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow. Main thing is Motown Philly will be back again, as long as you find that right speed. Once you get near the end, I'd like to slow up a little bit. You don't want to push that blade off. Boom. You can do one more spin ski. Hold both pieces. Turn the saw off. Let it unwind. Down one? I don't know. Wait, you're going to let it stop. Now you can take this. That's fun. And then boom, that is a perfect 10-inch circle. You could rinse and repeat this, you know, a million times over. Again, you want to keep your hole for your reference mark here. You want it in the bottom of your piece. You can always plug that up if you need to. And you will, like any bandsaw, have some bandsaw chatter, but sand it away. You're ready to go. Hope this was educational for you. As they say in the YouTube world, like and subscribe or do whatever the hell you want. Just be good to others.